All right, so since October is Estate Planning Awareness Month, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about should you talk to your family members about an estate plan, how to talk to family members about creating an estate plan. Um, this kind of boils down to two really different questions. One is if you have already created an estate plan, should you talk to your family about it? And then the other is if you are a loved one of somebody who's older than you, maybe a parent or an older sibling or something like that, should you or how should you talk to them about estate planning? So the first question is really more about should I let everybody in on what's going on in my estate plan? And typically the answer is yes, unless you have a problem child that you don't want to tell about the estate plan, then maybe you shouldn't. But typically, you want to let everybody in on what's happening. And there's a lot of different things that you need to talk to them about. If emergencies come up, they should know where everything is, where all the documents are. If they are if there's a fiduciary there, if there's somebody who's in charge, then they definitely need to know what's going on in the plan so that they're ready to take action when they need to. If there is a problem child or something like that, then you probably don't always want to put them in on the discussion, or maybe you do. Maybe you just want to include them because you want to air everything out so they know what's coming up. That's also a good option. Now, on the other hand, if you are the adult child of somebody, or maybe you're a younger sibling and you want to talk to them about estate planning, that older sibling or your parents about estate planning, it's difficult to broach the subject. People don't want to talk about dying and death and becoming incapacitated and things like that. And you don't want to come off like you're trying to money grab or something like that. And I get that. And so typically what I recommend when people ask me about this is just put it all out there. Talk about how awkward it is to talk about it. And that it's hard for you just like it's hard for them because you don't want them to feel like you're just after their money or anything like that. And that's not what this is about. Good estate planning is about making everything smooth for the family and things like that. So I think it's a good idea on the front end to just address it and get it out of the way. The elephant in the room, why are you talking to me about my money? It's my money. Well, because if you're in charge after somebody passes away, it's hard to deal with unless you've talked about it first. But do be sensitive to your family members' feelings because they're out there. So those feelings about death and dying and things like that. Another thing is you should involve as many family members as possible in the conversation. So nobody feels like they've been left out, they don't know what's going on, things like that, because that can really create problems when somebody passes away or becomes incapacitated because the people didn't know what the plan was going in. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So if it also makes it easier to talk about these kinds of things if you invite a professional in there, whether it's an estate planning attorney or a financial advisor that you trust. Sometimes it's good to have a team, kind of a moderator there in the discussion. So that's another good thing that you can do. So since it is the Estate Planning Awareness Month, talk to your family about it. Thanks.